Oh my gosh. If the bridal industry had an award for the most anxious bride, this would be our winner.
So she would win a trophy.
Mm-hmm.
I love to give out trophies. Basically to like declare so many things that we could talk about in the bridal industry. But today we're specifically talking about one bride.
Yes.
So
let me start.
Yeah, so she's winning the anxious trophy
Yes.
bride.
Yeah.
Let's hear about it.
So this bride comes in. As she came in, she seemed a little nervous, but her mom had tons of energy, so I think she was feeding off of that a lot.
Good energy or like positive?
Yeah, she seemed very excited,
Okay.
just ready to come in.
Yeah.
So she came in with her dress. Her dress was a A-line dress. It had beading all over it from head to toe.
Was it strapless?
It had straps.
Okay.
Beaded straps as well.
Mm-hmm.
Her mother, I believe, was the one who picked the dress, decided that was her dress.
She must have had the buying power.
Right,
I guess
exactly.
we'll find out, right?
Yes. So everything went well for the first fitting. She kind of just told me what her vision was for her dress, and so then we started there. Her mom didn't really say much the whole time. She just kind of observed, and then she was done pretty quickly. She didn't really need too much done. It fit really well already.
Okay, yeah. And we don't see that often, but every once in a while it's
and so it was more, I think, custom
okay,
work.
yeah. So sometimes if it needs just like a nip and a tuck, if even that, and then they'll just come in and usually we'll just start on the custom stuff. Yeah. That's great.
So continuing from the first fitting, she had her second, and she came in just to basically approve what we had already started. From there, she came in with her mother again, but this time the bride was more quiet. And so it was me really conversing more with the mother, just kind of going over everything, making sure that she liked it all. So the mom was saying her yes and no's with her accessories and also with how she wanted the dress to look. The bride and the mother conflicted a little bit with what she wanted to do with her bust, which is normal.
Let me jump in. So they might have already had a little tiff, if you will, like before they even arrived at our studio.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could have something to do with it.
Yeah.
Let me get my pen
I
ready.
always kind of pick up on some feelings and emotions and body language. So it didn't seem like the same bride as the first fitting. But no, other than that, then she was pretty happy. She took a couple pictures, and then we just continued from there. She had several pending quotes because she was more of an undecisive bride. Her pending quotes were mainly if she wanted to add any additions to her dress.
Yeah, so when we do the pending quotes, just know that if you go to your seamstress, you don't always have to like pay for everything all up front necessarily, because sometimes an alteration has to be done before we can see like what else we can add on top of that area, but it has to fit perfectly first. So
That's what I always say. Get the dress to fit first.
Yes. So we always have pending quotes. How about what percentage would you say of brides we're always giving pending quotes after we've done the fitting, after they've paid for whatever we have pinned? How many have pending quotes still?
Percentage-wise, pending quotes, I would say probably 50%.
Yeah, so almost like half of our brides then they walk out and they still have quotes for other things that you probably discussed with them, and then it's kind of like, okay, well, let's visit it once the dress fits, during the next fitting and so forth. So that's something to expect. So just a heads up for pending quotes. It's a thing.
Yeah, so continuing with this bride, so she came in for her third, and she was definitely on edge. She came in with her mother again. Her mom was still just cool and calm. Every time the bride would get dressed, the mother did step out, so we would always chit-chat outside.
That's good. But was the mom like cool and calm, meaning like stealth?
No, she was just enjoying the experience and just kind of like just hanging out. She was the kind of calm person that I would see when a bride was more closer to like a final. And so that's what it seemed, because the bride was pretty much almost completed. So when we entered, the mother and I together, the bride was just very anxious, I could tell. She was shaking a little bit, but she kept saying how she was uncomfortable. She was talking about how her plans were going for the wedding, and so then that's what was kind of giving me the trigger of like, okay, has a lot on her plate. She's probably really anxious. Let me try to calm her down. So we just kind of went head to toe with all the alterations. When I was speaking with her, she kind of was just like, you know what, can we just make the next one a final and just not do anything else?
Uh-oh.
Right. And
Okay.
so, and then I was kind of taken back because previously we would talk about her pending quotes and what she would want to do with the dress, and then also just with her standard alterations. But from that fitting, from the third one, she was just basically done with the process. She was done kind of coming in.
She checked out.
Right. And so she was just like, can you just complete it and I can just pick it up? The mother was back and forth with her, like, are you sure? And she was just like, yeah, let's get it done. And so I took the dress from her in that same fitting to make sure that we could have it completed. So I looked inside, made sure everything was good, and then I confirmed with her that, okay, we can have this your final. She said thank you, and she immediately just took off really fast. Like, she just wanted to be in and out really fast.
Well, she was trying to escape something. We don't know
Right.
exactly what it was,
Right.
but when you're checking the dress inside, you're just making sure that it was like all closed up,
Right,
and
because
everything
we
was
were
sealed
just
off.
kind of still in the thick of it, of all the process. And so I wanted to
Wow.
make sure that, you know, if she wanted to discontinue with everything else, that we made it and put it back to its original state.
Okay, so not necessarily making more adjustments, just close it up where it's
Right.
at.
So that she'd be able to take it home and wear it.
Okay, all right. So
Right. And so, yeah, I was a little taken back from that, but, you know, it happens. So with her last fitting, she comes in, she came in late, so she was kind of sitting in her car. I don't know if she was, you know, upset or kind of breathing it out. But
was she by herself?
yeah, her mom and her came separate this time.
Okay,
And so
the
she
mom's
actually
thing.
came in without her mom for the first half of the fitting.
But her mom, you said, was like she was cool and
Right.
calm the last
Right.
time, and
I feel like that's the one that calms
Yeah.
her down too.
Okay, so but in like a good way though,
Yeah,
right?
right,
Okay, so
Yeah.
all right, so we'll see where still
Yeah.
this is going.
Yeah. And so for the final, the bride comes in and she is still in her anxious state. She's very overwhelmed. She's nervous to try on the dress. And so then we decide to wait for her mother. Her mother then comes in. I step out, and the mother and her kind of do the final fitting where she's just getting her dressed, and then they kind of just look it all over. From then I walk in, and she says, "It's great. I love it." And she's
The bride.
Okay.
Okay.
And she's taking pictures. She said, "It's great." And I said, "Are you ready to get married?" And she said, "Yeah." She switched instantly when her mom came in to that happy state because she was so anxious.
Okay.
At the end, while she was still in her dress, she did apologize for her being anxious, and then actually verbally said, "I'm really anxious with the whole wedding." She wanted to just get it over with. So that was understandable.
Yes.
But she did leave happy with her dress at the end. And then the mom also was just like, "Thank you so much. I'm going to refer you to my other daughter."
Who's getting married also?
Right.
Woohoo.
So at the end, it all went well. It was just kind of, I was hoping to make sure that she was able to get the vision that she wanted with her dress alterations.
So how were you feeling during this entire time, just like working with her wedding dress journey?
I was happy. I'm that kind of person who will try to change the atmosphere so that you're more comfortable and relaxed. I feel like the way that we set up our fittings as well,
Yes.
we make it very calm and relaxing for the bride as well.
Yes, I definitely like to throw lots of energy
Yeah.
because it's fun, and at the
Yeah.
same time, if I'm nervous as well about something, which I'm usually not, but if
Yeah.
somebody's kind of there and they're just like not necessarily flowing with the rest of us
Right.
during the fitting,
Yeah.
then I'll kind of like amp up the energy and just be like,
Exactly.
hey, we're all best friends here, let's party.
Or when you see someone shaking or just like,
Yeah.
you know, tensing up, you know, you always want to calm them down. We have water.
Right. We also have like some sugar drinks and
Yeah.
stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I'll just get into my my final three takeaways. All right. So for the first one, you know, obviously it's about being anxious. As a bride, you're not going to know at what point in time in the process you're going to become anxious. What I can say though is that I know that so many brides, they do have like their, what would you call it? Their thing about the wedding, right? The whole thing, no pun intended, but the whole thing about having your wedding dress altered is that, so this is something that can't be done like a redo, like the wedding dress alterations. But if you're having like, you know, catering or flowers or, you know, even a photographer, those things for the most part can kind of be changed up at the last minute.
Right.
But like, so the wedding dress journey, as we like to say, so that's the final step in the process. And so it's just really hard to know, you know, most brides, I would say they get a little anxious, but it's because maybe they don't understand things first because they've never done this before.
Right.
So you as a bride also, you don't have a basis for comparison. So you've never done this before and you won't do it again. Ideally, that's what we always tell our brides. So that kind of leads me into my second takeaway. You want to have moral support. In this case, I was thinking, okay, something's going to go down with her mom, right? But she was like completely positive, and they might have had like a tiny tiff, her and the bride. But ultimately, every time that she came in, it seemed like her mom being there was helping her. Someone to kind of absorb the shock, so to speak, of the anxiousness, then that definitely helps. And it's never going to be perfect, okay? They're not just going to be like the perfect person to be there for you, but it does help to have somebody there.
Yeah, that support system there.
Yeah. So my third and final takeaway for this is that for this bride to just be like, she just obviously checked out mentally, and then she's like, can we just make it a final? It kind of goes that way, like when you're doing other stuff, like I guess I'm going to use maybe like a wedding cake, right? You don't have to have that second or third tier on your cake, right? But if the cake hasn't finished baking, you can't just like pull it from the oven. It's kind of the same way with your wedding gown. Wherever your dress is, we can't hem half a hem, you know, and shorten the length that you need it to. We can't do one strap or take in one side of the bodice on your gown. So everything has to be done evenly on the left and right sides. There is a process where you can get to a certain point, but as far as just like checking out and being like, well, can we make it a final? It's not always doable. There may still be some things that need to be done to the gown that may cause for like an extra cost. So
or more time too.
It definitely might take more time, take more money for whatever else you need to finish it off to close the dress up and stuff like that. So checking out and just being like, can we appoint this to be our final? It doesn't really work like that, especially for your dress, because there are so many details on the gown that, let me tell you, if you know how many details we take off, all those details have to go back on. And if your dress is not properly put back together in some way, shape, or form, you may have to compromise. So, and it may or may not be a happy ending. So just be super mindful of that.